boa tarde, povo da quarentena. Novamente, Coluna Blues Rock aqui, eu, Hugo Medeiros, para mais uma Quarentena Sessions, seu horário de relaxar, de descontrair, de escutar um bom papo e uma boa música. Hoje, abrindo mais uma semana, segunda-feira, temos um convidado de honra. Cara, o que esse convidado tem de história, o Flamengo tem de título, ou seja, muita coisa. Estou falando do norte-americano Peter Madcat Ruth. Para o povo da gaita sabe o que eu estou falando. Aliás, fiz falar em Peter Madcat Ruth, botei aqui Coluna Blues Ruth e não tem como eu corrigir. Então vou aqui fazer novamente. Pois bem, Sr. Peter Madcat Ruth está aí na estrada desde a década de 60 e há muito tempo que eu queria trocar uma ideia com ele, mas ele é um tanto quanto recluso. E justamente agora, nessa quarentena, ele apareceu aí, pelo menos me respondeu, e eu o convenci a participar através da live do Instagram. Tenho certeza que vai ser um papo muito bacana, porque quem conhece Peter Madcat Ruth sabe que o cara é realmente muito bom músico. O cara toca saxofone, toca banjo, toca gaita, toca jaws harp, que é um bagulhinho aí que ele vai mostrar se tudo der certo. Pois bem, estamos chegando aí a mais uma quarentena. Mr. Peter Madcat is in the house. Okay, I'll call you in a few minutes. Okay, I'm just inviting some friends to our dear live. Pois bem, como eu já estava falando aqui, hoje Peter Madcat Ruth, o cara é simplesmente uma lenda da gaita. Amanhã, terça-feira, na Quarentena Sessions, sempre às 4 da tarde, senhor Sérgio Rocha, grande guitarrista aqui do Rio de Janeiro, e amanhã começaremos a ter lives musicais, sempre às 8 da noite. Amanhã nós teremos uma banda de jazz, fusion, funk maravilhosa lá de Novo Hamburgo, Rio Grande do Sul, a Coro Jazz. A partir de amanhã, 8 da noite, sempre teremos aí um showzinho para animar a noite, sempre no perfil do Coluna Blues Rock. Amanhã, Coro Jazz, não percam. Vou chamar aqui agora nosso amigo Peter Madcat Ruth. Hello, Mr. Ruth.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Getting organized.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Perfectly. So nice to meet you and talk to you, Mr. Ruth. A long time ago, I have already tried this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, here we are.
Yes, yes. So, let's begin in the beginning. How was your first contact with the blues?
Okay, excuse me. Say that again, please.
How was your first contact with the blues?
Oh, when I was about 15 years old, I was listening to the radio and I heard Sonny Terry, the harmonica player, Sonny Terry, and with Brownie McGee on guitar. And when I heard that on the radio, it just blew my mind. I said, oh, I'm going to have to learn how to do that. And that was a long time ago.
I'm back. So, Sonny Terry is my favorite blues duo. I love Sonny Terry,
Yeah.
very acoustic. I just loved Sonny Terry and Brown McGee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
When I heard
did you have? So sorry, please.
When I heard that sound, he was making these like barking noises with the harmonica, and it just like drove me crazy, like this. So yes. I have to learn how to do that.
It's beautiful. And did you? Is that true? Did you have harmonica lessons with Big Walter Horton?
Oh yeah, I had 3 lessons with Big Walter Horton. When I was 18 years old, I had 2 lessons. When I was 19 years old, I had 1 more.
And how was to to have a lesson with a blues harmonica legend?
It was mind-blowing because he was just so good, and I knew he was so good, and we were in his kitchen, and he was on one side of the kitchen table, and I was on the other side of the kitchen table, and I just, you know, when I heard his sound on a record, I thought, well, maybe it's some kind of electronic enhancement, some kind of trick to make it sound big. But his tone was so big, and just sitting across from the table from him, I just was amazed at how good he was.
And what did you teach to you?
Well, I think the main thing was just listening to him and hearing what was possible. And he definitely taught me things, but mostly just hearing what was possible, and then practicing for 6 months and going back again and getting another dose of how amazing he was, and then going home and practicing all the time, playing harmonica all the time when I should have been doing my homework.
Nice. You have a long time relation, partnership, friendship with the Brubeck family. Yeah. That's incredible. Could you tell us, how was the period with Chris Brubeck?
Well, the period with Chris Brubeck is still going on. I play with Chris, well, right now there's no gigs at all, so but we'll be getting back together, I'm sure. But I first met Chris Brubeck in 1968, and then I joined his band in 1969, and that first band was called New Heavenly Blue, and then I was in his next band called Sky King, and then I joined his brother's band called the Darius Brubeck Ensemble, and then Dave Brubeck started using the Darius Brubeck Ensemble as his backup band, and it was called Two Generations of Brubeck. And so I was touring the world with Dave Brubeck for about 4.5 years. I guess almost 5 years. It was an amazing experience.
Yes, because Dave Brubeck is one of the biggest genius in music.
Yeah. So I did a lot of practicing. And one of the things right away is he was playing in these odd time signatures. So I'd never played anything like that before, but once I got to playing music with Chris Brubeck and Darius Brubeck, I had to learn how to do that. And I learned things like this. So I did a lot of practicing to try to keep up.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Whoa, take 5.
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you also record with Blackfoot?
Yeah, I did one recording with Blackfoot. Just, in fact, the band wasn't there. It was just the producer had me come in and overdub one thing, but it was fun. It was...
Okay. And when when it begins your career strictly inside the blues?
I've never been strictly inside the blues. I like playing blues very much, but I also play Americana music, country music, rock and roll music, reggae music. I just like playing music. So, but I've listened to a lot of blues. I've played a lot of blues, and a large part of what I play in any show is blues. But I'm not really just. I don't think of myself as just a blues musician. I think of myself as a musician, a harmonica player, a ukulele player, a guitar player.
Okay. So do you consider yourself more like an Americana musician?
Yeah, I guess so, because that kind of encompasses blues as well.
Okay. I have a question here from a Brazilian harmonica player, Angelo Nani. He's asking, I don't know how to speak in English. Just 1 second. Which, I don't know, the mouth of the harmonica, do you often use? The tongue blocking?
Yeah, it's called tongue blocking or lipping.
Yes.
And I use both, and I continually switch between the two all the time. When I'm bending a note, I'm not tongue blocking. Because my tongue is back into my mouth to bend the note. But if I'm playing a note without bending it, I'm tongue blocking part of the time and just narrowing my lips the other part of the time. So I do both constantly, and I switch between the two without thinking about it. And some people say, "Oh, you have to tongue block all the time," and I say that's nonsense.
Nice. And how did
also, just one more thing, tongue blocking is really wonderful. You get a certain tone that way, but also I wouldn't want to give up the just narrowing my lips method either, because they both have great sounds. So I use both methods.
Okay. I have curious about Joss harp. Do you have anyone here?
Sure.
That's amazing. Could you explain and present that instrument to us?
Sure. That's what it looks like. And it has this one piece that vibrates back and forth. So you press it against your teeth and hit this twanger, and it makes one tone like that. But if you move the shape of your mouth, then you can get sounds like this. And then if you breathe in and out like this, then it sounds like this. So if you breathe in and out, hit the twanger, and move your tongue around, it's a great instrument.
It's crazy, crazy instrument.
And it comes just in one note. This one, key of G. But I have many. I have them in various keys, so I can play.
In Brazil, Joss harp is called berimbau de boca.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
mouth's very bow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. How did it begin? Madcat came.
Oh, well, I met Sherry Kane probably 1977, 78, somewhere around there. And I knew she played guitar, and but she was just a friend that lived in the same town. And one time I had a concert at an outdoor festival in Ann Arbor. And I had a musician from Chicago that was going to come and do the concert with me. We'd been playing shows together. And the day of the concert, he called up and said he couldn't make it. He had car trouble. He couldn't come to the gig. And so I was going to do this outdoor festival, and I thought, wow, gee, I don't want to do it all by myself. So I called up Sherry Kane and said, do you want to come down and do a few songs at this outdoor festival, just part of the show? And she said, sure. And she came down, and it just worked really well. And let me see, that was probably about 1990 or so. And so after that, we started doing a few shows, and then a few more shows, and then then we ended up doing shows for about 24 years.
Nice. In 90s, you have played with Horry Block. How was it?
Difficult.
Why difficult?
She's a very good musician, but she's a little hard to deal with. So I did some shows with her, and then I decided that it was more of a problem than it was worth. But she's an excellent guitar player, singer, performer. Just I didn't want to do that anymore, so I stopped after a short time.
I swear, I thought that you would say, yeah, it was a great time, great partnership. Amazing. So, could you play a little bit for us?
Sure. You want to hear some guitar or some ukulele or just harmonica or both or everything?
Whatever you want.
Everything. All right. Hold on a second.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Good. Glad you like it. Hey, I just wrote a new song recently, so I'll play it for you. Well, come on, everybody. We're going to twist and shout. Get off the couch and let your yah-yahs out. We're going to boogie. We're going to boogie. quarantine boogie, do the worldwide boogie, do the 2020 boogie. You can do it, 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 you can do it. I know you can do it. Well, the little kids do it, and the old folks too. Everybody's doing it, and so can you. Boogie. We got a boogie. Do the pandemic boogie, do the quarantine boogie, do the 2020 boogie, do the worldwide boogie. You can do it, 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 you can do it. I know you can do it.
Yeah. That's amazing, Mr. Ruth. That's amazing.
I'm gonna be. I'm working right now on making a YouTube video of that song, and so people can look in my YouTube channel in a few days and see the new video about that one.
Yes. I know that's your first time on Instagram Live, right?
Yeah.
So, Coluna Blues Rock is like a pioneer.
Yeah. Well, very
Yes. Thank you so much for doing for us Brazilian.
good. Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. How about if I play one more on the harmonica before we say goodbye?
Go, please.
All right.
But I have a few questions.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah. We don't have to leave yet. I thought you were ending it, but we can talk.
No, please. We have
can talk as
time.
long as you want. I can play more. It's fine.
Thank you. So, one question. How did you meet Big Joe Manfra? Because Big Joe Manfra is a friend of mine, and he's a very respected guitar player here in Brazil.
Yeah, he's great. Well, what happened is when Madcat and Kane first went to Brazil, there was a promoter in Chicago named Marty Salzman, and he booked the acts, or helped book the acts, to go to Brazil to play at the first one was the Nescafe and Blues Festival. And so I went there, Sherry Kane went there, and we did the festival. And one of the people that went to that festival was Jefferson Gonçalves. And we met after the show. He said he really liked the show, and I should let him know if I ever come back to Brazil. So then 2 years later, we went back to Brazil again. This time it was called the Sesc Blues Festival, I think, but it was in Sao Paulo, and cities near Sao Paulo. So I sent him a fax. This is a long time ago, so we didn't have email yet. But we had fax machines. So he worked in a record store with a fax machine. So I sent him a fax that I'm coming down and maybe I'll see you again. And he sent me a fax back and said, well, if you're coming to Brazil again, why don't you stay a few days after the show and do some shows with Big Joe Manfra? And I said, sure, why not? So I did that, and those shows, we only did like 3 or 4 shows, and they went so well that then Manfra had me come back 13 times or something. So I've toured with Manfra and Jefferson all over Brazil, and it's been wonderful. They're great people, great musicians.
I agree. Claudia Onishi is asking here, ask him if until now he studies harmonica every day, and what he recommends for those people that are starting studying harmonica, how to develop such speed playing.
Excuse me a minute. I have to plug in my phone. It's running out of power.
Ok, no problem. Caraca, vocês estão vendo que quarentena é essa com Peter Madcat Ruth? O cara é uma lenda, já tocou o ukulele, já tocou gaita, Joss Harper, o cara é foda, puta que pariu. Só no Coluna Blues Rock vocês têm isso. So, Mr. Ruth, I was saying, did you listen to the question?
Yes. Well, let me hear the question one more time.
Yeah, sure. Ask him if until now he studies harmonica every day and what he recommends for those people that are starting to study harmonica, how to develop such speed playing.
Well, I probably don't play every day, but I play almost every day. I always have a harmonica in my pocket, no matter where. I keep it in a case inside my pocket. And so I always have a harmonica. So when I think of something, oh, I wonder how that would sound, and I just pull the harmonica out and I try it. So, yes, I've been playing about 56 years now, and just about every day, but not every day, but that's a lot. That's a long time. So, about speed, well, you start slow and then you get faster. And you just try things. You try, you hear something and you say, well, I wonder if I could do that on a harmonica. So you try it, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't, but I learned just by ear, by listening, and I don't know, I just enjoy it so much. I keep playing. Now these days, there's a lot of things on online, on the internet, a lot of good lessons, a lot of good people talking about how to play harmonica better, and so that's a help. And also just listening to go on YouTube and listen to some great harmonica players for inspiration. That's what I recommend.
Yes. Speaking of Manfra and Jefferson Gonçalves, what do you think about Brazilian blues musicians? Besides the both, of course.
Well, the blues musicians that I've heard in Brazil are wonderful. And they really have a good feel for how to play blues. I think it's because we have the blues is a combination of African influence and European influence, and Brazilian music is also a combination of African influence and European influence, and it comes out a little different, but people can understand it. People in Brazil understand blues, and people here can feel the blues, but actually all over the world, there's good blues bands throughout the world these days, so it's a good thing. But I want to give a special shout out to Flavio Guimarães. She's one of my favorites, and there's so many though. There's well, I'm not going to go into all the names because I won't remember them all.
And is that true? Did you play with George Clinton?
That's another thing that, like Blackfoot, I played on a George Clinton record, but he wasn't there. I do that. I do a lot of studio work. People say, "Oh, they need a harmonica on this cut," and they say, "Who can we get?" They all call Madcat, and so I've done a lot of records. In fact, I've been on about I think the last count was 130 LPs and CDs where I do a little bit.
It's a huge list.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
So, let's play a little.
Well, all right. Yeah, I'll play a little bit of guitar for you.
Estamos aqui com o senhor Peter Madcat Ruth. O cara é simplesmente uma lenda do blues. Só o Coluna Blues Rock faz essa porra pra vocês, seus cacetes. Partilhem, Coluna Blues Rock.
So I grew up near Chicago, and Chicago was such a home of the blues, and so I would hear blues on the radio when I was a teenager. And one of the guys I would listen to was Jimmy Reed.
Yes.
And Jimmy Reed didn't live in Chicago, but he lived very close to Chicago. He lived in Gary, Indiana, which is, I don't know, only 20 miles away or something. Well, if you leave me, babe, say you won't be back, that would be the death of me, 'cause I'd have a heart attack. You better get some insurance on me, baby. Take out some insurance on me, baby. 'Cause if you ever were to say goodbye, you know I'd haul right off and die. Well, baby, I will love you as long as I have breath. If we part, you know, sweetheart, it won't worry me to death. Better get some insurance on me, baby. Take out some insurance on me, baby. 'Cause if you ever were to say goodbye, you know I'd haul right off and die. Now I don't get sick or in accidents, and I'm as healthy as can be. But if you got any sense, you'll take my hand and keep a firm grip on me where you don't know me, baby, like I know myself. I couldn't live if you wouldn't give all your love to someone else. Better get some insurance on me, baby. Take out some insurance on me, baby. 'Cause if you ever were to say goodbye, you know I'd haul right off and die. Well, I will love you, baby, as long as I have breath. If we part, you know, sweetheart, it would worry me to death. Better get some insurance on me, baby. Take out some insurance on me, baby. 'Cause if you ever were to say goodbye, you know I'd haul right off and die.
Whoa! I'm here with the legend, Mr. Pete Madcat Ruth. Thank you so much, Mr. Ruth. This is my best ever live. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. I discovered a kid, not kid, but a girl who played a kick-ass guitar, a slide guitar. She calls Francine Sore, and she's amazed with your music right now. So please, you play one song for Francine.
Well, all right. Sure. Wonder what I should play. She plays slide, you say?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to play some slide ukulele. You hardly ever hear slide ukulele, but I'm going to do it. Hold on a second.
Nice. Francine, that's for you. That was for
That's
you.
right. Exactly.
The great slide player. Great.
Good. I'll have to hear
Yes.
it sometime.
That's the new generation.
Very good.
So, I don't want to abuse you, but could you play a little bit more?
Sure.
Whoa, it's an honor. Please, thank you so much.
Let me see. I'm looking for my C harp.
Vocês estão vendo aqui uma live com o Peter Madcat Ruth.
Well, my name is Georgie Buck, and I never had no luck. I've always been treated this way, boys. Always been treated this way. And it's whoa me, and it's whoa my. What's going to become of me, boys? What's going to become of me? Well, Georgie Buck is dead, and the last thing he said, dig me a hole in the ground, boys. Dig me a hole in the ground. Lawyers, snakes, and politicians got me in this bad condition. What's going to become of me, boys? What's going to become of me? Woo!
Whoa, Mr. Pete Madcat Ruth, what a genius. Thank you so much for your kindness.
Well, all right. I'm glad I could be with you, and hello to all my friends in Brazil. Maybe
Yes.
someday I'll come back again. Who knows? It's been a while, but
Yes, please come.
all right.
So, could you play the last one for us?
Sure. What do you want
Yeah.
to hear?
Whatever you want.
Wow.
Que live é essa, gente? Que live é essa? Simplesmente um pocket show do ganhador do Grammy, Peter Madcat Ruth. Que é isso? Que é isso? Que é isso? Que é isso? 14 pessoas aqui privilegiadas.
I have a baritone guitar here. It's tuned very low. Let me see. That's A, G. I need a G harmonica.
Essa live entrou pra história, hein? Essa live simplesmente entrou pra história. Se você ainda não está inscrito no Coluna do Rock, seu puto, se inscreve, siga. Logo depois dessa live histórica.
This is a song I wrote a long time ago. It's about a man who's broken up with his girlfriend, and he's very distressed. And he's driving to Texas. And if you live in Michigan and you drive to Texas, that's a long, long way. Probably takes about 14 hours to drive that far. Also, another thing about driving in Michigan, it's fine in the summertime, but in the wintertime when there's snow and ice, it's more difficult. Storm clouds are brewing, time to be moving on. No use in hanging on, now that the laughter's gone. Snow on my windshield, cold rain on my mind. Windshield wipers slapping time, gonna worry you off my mind. Going back to Texas, baby. Gonna worry you off my mind. I know it's gonna take some time. Sure enough, gonna take some time. I'm taking my time, I'm taking my time, I'm taking my time.
Whoa, Mr. Pete Madcat Ruth. What a genius, what a guy, what a humble man. Thank you so much, Mr. Madcat.
Well, all right.
Do you also play the banjo?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I don't have one right handy right here today, so I'll have to wait for another time to play the banjo. I just play it a little bit, but it's fun.
Okay. So, I know that I'm abusing you. Sorry. I'm so sorry about it. But we love your music, and we love harmonica player. We love the blues, and we are in that shit quarantine. So we need to listen some good music, Mr. Ruth. Please, one more.
Okay, we have a quarantine here, so I'm not going anywhere. Well, it was a cold, rainy morning. And the train left the station. And the blues whistle ever so lonesome. Yes, it took my baby. Let me stand in here. Well, it took my baby. Let me stand in here. Well, I took my sweet little Carino. And it left me standing right here. Well, see, Ryder. Well, see what you done, now you made me love you. Now you and your man have gone. Well, you made me love you. Now you and your man have gone. Well, you made me love you, Carino. Now you and your man are gone. mind. The blues ain't nothing but little Corina on my mind. Well, the blues ain't nothing but little Corina on my mind. Well, the blues ain't nothing but my little Corina. My little Corina. I got Corina on my mind. Corina, please come back.
You're gonna make me cry, Mr. Ruth.
Yeah, that's a sad one.
Oh, filha, vem cá. I want to present you my daughter.
Okay.
She's 4 years old, and she always says that she's gonna be a blues singer.
Oh, very good. Hello.
Blue. So, Mr. Ruth, we have exactly 3 minutes before the end of our live.
Oh my
That
goodness.
historical live, because it was the first time that Master Ruth is in Instagram live. So the last one, that's the truth.
Okay.
The last one, please, Master.
Okay. This harmonica is a low A harmonica, and this is a very old harmonica too. It was I had it for a while. A guy named Frank Huang originally worked on this harmonica, and then the great harmonica player Joe Falisco, the harmonica customizer, said, "You know, I can make that a better harmonica." And I said, "No, you're not touching this one, because this was already a wonderful harmonica." And so, but he kept saying, "You know, I could make that an even better harmonica." So finally I gave it to him, and guess what? He made it a better harmonica. So it's a low A harmonica.
Well, that's beautiful, Mr. Ruth. Thank you so much again. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, hello to all the friends in Brazil, and all the blues lovers in Brazil, and all the rock lovers in Brazil, and all the musicians all around the world. Hooray.
So, we have to do a deal. 2 times a year, we have to do that kind of live, okay?
Easy, fine, no problem.
Yes!
No problema.
Thank you so much again. Please, be safe, Mr. Ruth.
Very good. Thank you for
Thank you, bye.
interview.
Yeah, thank you, bye-bye.
Bye.
Meu irmão, tem noção do que acabou de se passar aqui? Tu tem noção do que acaba de se passar aqui? Eu ia mandar um palavrão, só que minha filha de 4 anos está aqui. A gente simplesmente teve um pocket show de um dos maiores gaitistas de todos os tempos. Mr. Tá quase caindo aqui. Mr. Peter Madcat Ruth. Meu irmão, o que acaba de se passar aqui é histórico. O primeiro pocket show transmitido pela internet do Mr. Madcat. Ele nunca fez uma transmissão pela internet. Nunca! Ele fez pela primeira vez para o Coluna Blues Rock. Assim como o Brother Diggs fez pela primeira vez pelo Coluna Blues Rock. Assim como Charlie Parr, um dos maiores slidemans do mundo, ele fez pela primeira vez no Coluna Blues Rock. Meu irmão, o que está se passando aqui nessa quarentena é histórico. Um pocket show ao vivo. Peter Madcat Ruth. É histórico. Assim que eu jogar no YouTube, eu vou rever toda essa live. Meu irmão, se tu ainda não segue Coluna Blues Rock, segue. Se ainda não está inscrito no canal do Coluna Blues Rock 2.0, se inscreva. E se você é milionário, me patrocine. Beijo, desligo. Fui!
Fui!